Everybody, it's Mena. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the very first video that you're seeing of me, then welcome to my channel. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you didn't already. I post every day of the week. Well, I'll be right back. Sorry everybody, I need to start remembering to close my door every time before I start filming, because then I have to get up, pause the video, and then just walk over, which is not that big of a deal for me, but I'm sure it's probably just very, very annoying to watch, to like wait for me to have to get up and close the door, but it's really not that far because my door's right over there. So anyway, so today in this video, I'm going to tell you guys a very irritating story about how I went to do a shopping activity at Walmart during my program, but we couldn't do it because the staff was so busy watching the client who was in a bad mood. So this is just to show you guys, if you're in a bad mood, don't ruin other people's day just because you're in a bad mood, because it makes everybody else miserable. And this client just would not have it. He just wanted us all to be miserable, and we were not too happy about that. So I'm going to get started, and I understand people are grumpy, like kids and stuff, but that doesn't give them a reason to ruin someone else's day just because they're grumpy. So I'm going to get started. So this all started a couple years ago. I was at Walmart with my program. We were heading on the bus, and that we had a very grumpy client with us. He was just in a bad mood. He just did not want to cooperate with the supervisor we were with, and he just was in a really bad mood, which I don't understand why he didn't want to cooperate with this supervisor, because the supervisor we had at the time was really nice. Sadly, she doesn't work with us anymore, but she was a very nice supervisor. And then so we're on the bus, we get off the bus, the person is still in his bad mood, and we go into Walmart, and the supervisor gives me a list of things, is about to give me a list, but then she doesn't hand me the list because she's so busy watching this other person watching the other client in the store, because she was worried he was going to steal something, because this client had a bad habit of stealing from stores. And I was like, why are you, and I thought it was weird at first how she was watching him, but which I told him until she told me, and I'm glad she was watching him because we didn't want him to get in trouble. And the client was like not having it. He was like, leave me alone, and he was just in a really bad mood. He kept yelling at us, and I didn't even do anything. I just wouldn't even talk to him because he was in such a bad mood. And so he just was not having it. And so he went over, he just would not listen to the supervisor. The supervisor was following him quietly to make sure he didn't take anything and stick it in his pockets. And he just kept telling her to leave him alone, and she wasn't even doing anything. She was just making sure he wasn't taking anything. And then the supervisor finally is fed up, wants to get out of the store because this person is not cooperating with her. And so as we're getting out of the store, the client goes to the little machines that have like little toys and stuff, and he wants to get a toy, but he doesn't have any money. And the supervisor is like, come on, we have to go. And he's like, leave me alone. And he's in a bad mood, and he won't stop being rude to her, and he's literally like being disrespectful, not listening to her. And so she had to get him away from the thing. She had to like lure him away from the things, and he was just like in a really bad mood. So she told him, I don't know if she just told him to stay away from the machines, but she just told him to get away from the machines. And then he finally listened to her despite the fact he was really mad. And then we head over to McDonald's for lunch because the supervisor needed to buy lunch, and she didn't have any lunch with her. So she gets her lunch, and she tries to get the client that's in a bad mood to eat with us. And he's like, no, I don't want to. And he's just like being very rude, disrespectful to her. And then he is eating his lunch. And then after he's done, he refuses to clean up his mess. And she's like, I don't want to clean up my mess. And she's like, you have to clean up your mess. And he's like, I don't want to. And so she made him do it. And he was pretty mad still. And then he said, kind of like not very nice things to her, a nice thing to her. He said, Maybe I'll write it on a board or something. So unfortunately, I can't find my whiteboard. I apologize for laughing. I was talking while the camera was still paused. Sorry. Yeah, so this person said some very rude things to the supervisor, and the supervisor was pretty offended. It was very, very rude. He said it. I know definitely it was rude. I'm just not going to say what it is because there's kids watching YouTube, but he said a very rude thing to her, and she was pretty appalled by his behavior. And she was so nice to him. Like, she brought him things like snacks and everything, and he just mistreated her. And I felt so sorry for this supervisor. And she was a nice supervisor, and I was very appalled by this person's behavior too. I'm talking about the client, not the supervisor. So our full day is over, and we're super happy because it was a horrible day that day. So we get on the bus and head back to the program, and the supervisor calls and reports the guy who was in a bad mood and told the lady in charge at the time about his behavior, and told him how he was very, very rude and disrespectful, which I think is good, because that's never okay to be rude to somebody, especially if it's a teacher. It's never okay to be rude to a teacher. And the person in the bad mood was just so disrespectful. And the person who was in the bad mood is finally much better, and he tries to talk to me, and I'm like, don't talk to me, I'm mad at you, because I was very mad at him for the way he treated the supervisor, because the supervisor was really nice, and she tried to help him and make sure he didn't do anything, he didn't take anything. And I was very appalled by the person who was in the bad mood's behavior, because I did not like the way he treated the supervisor. It was very rude, and the supervisor was very nice, and she did not deserve to be treated that way. And I was very mad at the client, so I told him not to talk to me, that I was mad at him for the way he treated the supervisor. But I did feel kind of bad, because I thought that was kind of rude, but at the same time, I didn't think he deserved to be talked to after the way he treated that supervisor, and I felt really awful for the supervisor. So, just so you guys know, if you're in a bad mood, don't treat people badly, especially if it's your teacher or your parents, because they do so much for you, and it's never okay to be rude to somebody if you're in a bad mood, especially if it's someone you really care about, like your parents or your teacher. It's never okay to be rude to anybody. So you need to always show respect for your supervisor, your parents, just anybody. I mean, it's like always important to respect other people and not be rude. Okay, so that was my Walmart shopping horror story. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I post every day of the week for a while, and I'll see you in a video soon. Bye.